Your backyard should be a retreat, not a money pit. Sadly, many popular yard features quietly destroy your home's value and your wallet over time. Today, we'll count down 12 backyard mistakes you need to avoid. Ranked so the worst is last. I promise, by number 1, you'll be shaking your head. Let's get into it. Note: stay through number 1, it's a big one. Number 12, wobbly stepping stones. Stepping stones may look charming, but when they aren't set properly, they quickly turn dangerous. Why it happens? Often people simply lay stone slabs on top of grass or loose sand. Without a stable base, each stone settles at a different level as you step on it. Rain, frost, or even your own weight pushes them unevenly. Real impact, the result? A trip hazard. One misstep could twist an ankle. In fact, over a third of home-related injuries come from trips and falls. Imagine you or a guest taking a spill. Besides medical bills, it leaves you liable if it happens on your property. Plus, weeds love to grow in the gaps. Those nice flat stones quickly have grass poking between them, meaning constant weeding. Numbers. Homeowners often pay $200 to $500 per stone to reset sinking pavers properly. Left alone, you might need to remove and redo the entire path in 2 to 3 years. Real-life example. I once knew a couple who had a beautiful flagstone path. Within 6 months, a few stones had sunken and one cracked. They ended up spending $1,200 to relay just a 20-foot section. Better alternative: dig down 4 to 6 inches, add gravel, sand, and compact it. Lay stones firmly on this base, or use concrete pavers with a sand base. The difference is night and day. The stones stay level year-round. You'll avoid trips and the endless patchwork. That's the smarter way to do it. But the next mistake is where people undo all that progress. Number 11, cheap landscape lighting. Outdoor lighting is great until it's done on the cheap. Why it happens? Many DIY installations use inexpensive bulbs and flimsy fixtures. People often go for the brightest, bluest LEDs, thinking more light is better. What happens? Harsh white light at night obliterates ambiance. It lights up the wrong spots, often shining in eyes or on walls. Bugs swarm, neighbors complain about light pollution, and your energy bill goes through the roof. Some bright lights can use 5 to 10 times more electricity than a warm LED. Real costs. Running 10 big halogen floodlights all night could cost hundreds of dollars extra per year. Meanwhile, replacing cheap fixtures that rust or break might cost $50 to $100 each. Your yard ends up looking like a parking lot, not a retreat. Maintenance headache. Cheap timers often fail after a season of weather, so you're fiddling with switches constantly. Better alternative: use warm, 2,700 Kelvin to 3,000 Kelvin. LEDs in quality fixtures. Place lights on timers or motion sensors so they only run when needed. Aim the beams at features, not outwards. For example, a small uplight at the base of a tree or a string of low-voltage lanterns along a walkway adds a welcoming glow. This setup might cost slightly more upfront. Good LED path lights run approximately $30 each, but you save by using less electricity and avoiding constant bulb replacements. So that solves the problem. But here's where most homeowners run into trouble next. Number 10, decorative plastic or metal edging. Border edging gives a clean look, but many products are too flimsy for long-term use. Why it happens? Cheap plastic edging cracks under sun and frost. Thin metal bends under pressure or rusts. Often, a DIYer simply nails or stakes it in place without anchoring. What happens? Over winter, the ground heaves and pushes, edging out of line. Mowers knock pieces loose. before you know it, your once sharp border looks like a snake. Real costs. Replacing edging every few years adds up. Even replacing a $10 plastic strip 10 times is $100 wasted. If you paid a contractor, expect to pay $2 to $4 per linear foot to redo proper edging. Impact. Misaligned edges let grass creep into flower beds, leading to more mowing and weeding. It also looks untidy, potentially lowering curb appeal, which affects value. Better alternative. For a forever edge, use a spade trench. A simple 2-inch deep cut along the lawn's edge. Turf will grow right up to this trench. It never shifts. Or install stone or paver edging, heavy blocks on sand. Yes, it costs more up front, maybe $15 to $25 per foot, but these never move. Proper edging stops grass rhizomes and gives a polished look without future fuss. Quick one, if this is already saving you from making an expensive mistake, hit like and subscribe. Most people only realize this after they've already paid for it. Number 9. River rock or gravel in plant beds. Using river rock or gravel as mulch can backfire badly. Why it happens, people think rocks equal no maintenance, but they overlook physics. Rocks store and radiate heat. What happens? In summer, beds with rocks can get 10 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit hotter than those with organic mulch. That extra heat stresses plant roots, requiring more frequent watering. In winter, rocks don't insulate the soil, so plants can suffer freeze-thaw damage. Numbers and costs. If plants die from stress, replacing mature shrubs or perennials can cost $50 to $200 each. Plus, removing gravel is painful. A small bed might take 5 to 10 hours to clear by hand. You've essentially locked in that cost. Weeds. Gravel doesn't biodegrade, but weeds do. Without a good barrier, persistent weeds like Bermuda grass or nutsedge poke right through. Pulling weeds from rock mulch is 10 times harder, and you'll be battling them every season. Better alternative, opt for wood or bark mulch. Apply a 3 to 4 inch layer. It cools soil and eventually breaks down into organic matter feeding plants. You'll need to top it off every 1 to 2 years. A 1 cubic yard bag covers approximately 100 square feet at 3 inches, which costs maybe $30 to $50 each time. Far cheaper than hauling away rock or buying new plants. Plus, it looks lush and natural, which buyers always appreciate. That's a solid fix, but the next one catches a lot of people off guard. Number 8. Mulch Volcano around trees. Piling mulch against tree trunks, the infamous volcano, is common but deadly. Why it happens? It's meant to hide the trunk base or cheat a 2x4 mulch filler. What happens? Mulch that high keeps bark constantly wet. Bark needs air, instead it rots. Fungi can invade the moist mulch and trunk base. Roots that should grow downward start winding up into the mulch pile. Essentially, the tree is suffocating from the bottom up. Real costs. This leads to root rot and unstable trees. A sick tree can cost $2,000 to $5,000 to remove if it falls or becomes diseased. Even on smaller trees, removal plus stump grinding is several $100s. Long-term impact. Trees weakened by mulch volcano are more likely to fall in storms, threaten your house, and lower curb appeal. A poor-looking or dead tree in front yard can easily knock thousands off your home's value. Better alternative, keep mulch 4 inches away from the trunk. Picture a donut shape, trunk in the center with a bare gap. Gently hill mulch only around the root flare. Use 2 to 4 inches of medium-grade mulch. This keeps moisture off the bark. Check for root girdling every year. Proper mulching extends tree life, saving you money and maintaining shade that adds to your property's worth. Done right, that works great. But the next mistake is one people make without even realizing it. Number 7. Ornamental grasses that run wild. Those tall grasses look majestic until they invade everything. Why it happens, many popular ornamental grasses, like pampas grass or certain miscanthus, spread via underground runners. They seem like nice clumps, but in a season they send up shoots far from where you planted them. What happens? You'll find grass sprouting through patio cracks or across fences into the neighbor's yard. Pulling them out is a chore. Unless you dig out every last root, they'll return next spring. Real costs. A severe infestation might cost you $500 to $1,000 or more in herbicide, root removal, or replants. The bigger issue? These grasses choke out other plants, so flower beds can fail, meaning more replanting costs. Maintenance. Even non-invasive grasses need dividing every few years to keep them neat. If you neglect them, the centers die and the clump looks ragged, so you end up buying new plants anyway. Better alternative, choose clumping grasses. For example, fountain grass, maiden grass, that don't spread rampantly. They grow in tidy bunches. Or switch to low bushes or perennials for texture. For example, blue fescue, clumping, or hardy sedges can give grass-like effects without runaway roots. If you do plant runners, contain them in root barriers or pots. It takes a bit of planning, but avoids that nightmare chore of yanking grass from places it shouldn't be. That's the better approach. But the next feature is where things quietly get expensive. Number 6. Artificial turf, fake grass, mishaps. Synthetic turf seems like a dream for a perfect lawn, but installation errors make it a disaster. Why it happens? Often, installers skip proper base layers or use cheap backing, or homeowners buy the cheapest turf available. What happens? In our climate, cheap turf heats up severely in sun. Users report surface temps 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit hotter than natural lawn on a summer day. Painful to walk on barefoot. Also, poor backing with no perforation means you flood the yard when you hose off debris. Water pools causing mold or algae that turns the turf gray. Long-term cost. Many think of turf as set and forget, but they replace it every 5 to 10 years. A 500 square foot install can cost $2,500 to $5,000 initially, plus a similar amount to replace down the line. If grass wasn't right for the spot, you may end up paying for all that and still not liking the result. Health risks. Some infill materials, rubber crumbs, have been flagged by health studies, so you might pay extra for eco-friendly turf. Better alternative. If a green lawn is a must, choose high-quality turf with infill, sand or silica, and a perforated backing. Expect to pay more, approximately $10 to $12 per square foot, but it drains well and stays cooler. Or consider real fescue or buffalo grass. They tolerate heat and need only occasional watering. They take a bit of time to establish, but once in, they stay green with minimal work. No fake headaches, and natural grass even benefits soil health and wildlife. Quick one, if you want to make smarter property decisions, hit like and subscribe. This is exactly what we focus on here. Number 5. Sprinkler systems with no plan. A sprinkler system on autopilot wastes water and hides problems. Why it happens? Many people install sprinklers with only 1 or 2 zones and never think twice. Or they set it to run twice a day, no matter rain or season. What happens? One-size-fits-all schedules overwater some plants and underwater others. Lawns get soggy patches that breed fungus, while shrubs on the other side of the yard parch. Over time, pipes or heads wear out unevenly. If you don't catch a hidden leak, it could cost $500 to $2,000 in water bills and repairs before you notice on your statement. Real costs. A running sprinkler head costs about 600 gallons a day, about $5 each day. In a month, that's $150 wasted. Multiply that by multiple leaks, and it's a real shock. Professionals find that zoning properly saves 30 to 50% of water use. Real life. One homeowner had a pop-up head aimed at the driveway, the concrete algae covered. Another forgot to winterize the line. One freeze burst cost $800 to replace the entire run. Better alternative? Zone smartly. Divide your yard by plant needs: sunny lawn, shady under trees, flower beds. Use separate valves for each. Mark your zones on a plan and keep it handy. Install a rain sensor and a smart controller. They skip watering on rainy days. Check sensors seasonally. Even manually turning off the system during a rainy week can save thousands of gallons. A well-planned system not only uses far less water, it also means grass and plants stay healthier. So if you do it that way, you're in a good spot, but the next one can still cause problems fast. Number 4. Paved patio driveway with zero drainage. That stunning patio slab looks good until the first downpour. Why it happens? People often pour concrete or lay pavers flat, forgetting that water needs an escape. They skip planning for gutters or drainage. What happens? Rainwater has nowhere to go. It ponds on the surface or, worse, flows toward your home's foundation. Over years, that moisture causes cracks in the concrete as it freezes and expands. It seeps into basements or crawl spaces, causing mold and rot. Real costs. Fixing a flooded basement or leaking foundation can cost $5,000 to $15,000 or more. Even repairing a cracked patio can run $2,000 to $4,000 for repouring sections properly. Buyer impact. Homes with drainage issues often fail inspections or lose thousands at sale time. One landscape designer said, "No drainage is the silent killer of many patios." Better alternative. Always slope surfaces 1 to 2% away from the house. That's 1 to 2 inches down per 10 feet. Incorporate channel drains, visible grates, or underground French drains around the edges. Use permeable pavers or spacing with gravel joints to let water infiltrate the ground. If you already have a low spot, it's not hopeless. You can trench in a linear drain or even create a dry creek bed to redirect runoff. Proper grading and drainage may add steps during installation, but it prevents major repairs and keeps your yard usable even after heavy rain. That's how to avoid the issue, but the next mistake is built into a lot of backyards already. Number 3. Stamped concrete without expansion. Joints. Stamped concrete, like fake stone, can look high-end right up until it cracks. Why it happens? Concrete contracts and expands with temperature changes. Large continuous slabs need strategic expansion joints, usually cut lines, to relieve stress. Many installers cut too few, thinking less maintenance. What happens? In just one summer or winter, a slab can crack along the weakest line, often right in the middle of the stamped pattern. You end up with a giant uneven split. And because of the pattern, you can't just patch. It has to be redone. The stamped finish also takes heavy sealants, which can become slippery when wet if not done correctly, another safety issue. Real costs. Repairing stamped concrete isn't cheap. To do it right, you often have to break out the whole panels, which can cost $1,000 plus for a modest patio, and reapply stamping. If you skip repair and just tolerate cracks, the cracks can grow and become trip hazards. Also, if the surface fails, buyers will either assume poor workmanship or deduct heavily from your asking price. Better alternative. If you want a permanent solution, insist on expansion joints every 8 to 10 feet before installation. Use color-matched caulk in those joints for aesthetics. Or skip stamping and use interlocking pavers or natural stone. With pavers, individual pieces are easy to replace if something shifts. It may cost a bit more upfront. Pavers can be $10 to $15 per square foot, but you'll never pay $10,000 later to redo your patio. That solves it long term. But the next one is where people think they're upgrading, when they're not. Number 2. Oversized water. Features without expert design. Water features look like luxury, but mistakes here are costly. Why it happens. Many people buy pumps based on flow rate alone, without matching their pond or fountain size. Others drop a big pond in full sun because water looks cool anywhere. What happens? A mismatched pump can destroy your enjoyment. Too small, and the water stagnates, algae and mosquitoes multiply. Too large, and it's a roaring fountain that wastes power and can overflow. Both extremes mean hours of daily maintenance. Skimming, cleaning filters, balancing chemicals. A 1/2 horsepower pump running 24/7 can add $50 to $100 per month to your energy bill. Examples. I've seen well-meaning homeowners buy a water feature kit from a big box store and not realize they need electrical lines and permits. They ended up needing electricians and plumbers, which blew the budget by thousands. Another spent $6,000 on a koi pond, only to have it green and smelly because it was under 100% sun and lacked UV filtration. They had to rip it out a year later. Better alternative: if a fountain or pond is on your list, plan it like a pro's. Calculate the volume and get a pump recommended for that volume and head height. Choose a partly shaded location away from falling leaves. Add a biological filter and UV clarifier for ponds. If you just want the look, consider a self-contained fountain. It sits on a patio, plugs in, and recirculates water without needing piping. It gives you that soothing water sound for a fraction of the work. That's the right move. But the next one is where things can get frustrating quickly. Number 1. Invasive privacy hedges, bamboo and Leyland cypress. The number 1 backyard nightmare: wrong privacy plants. Why it happens: bamboo and fast-growing evergreens seem like quick fences. You see a sale sign, 2-foot bamboo for $10, and plant it without research. What happens? These plants can cost you tens of thousands in the long run. Running bamboo doesn't stay put. It sends shoots 30 to 50 feet away under fences. Those neighbors' yards become your patch. Removing mature bamboo is brutal work. Expect to dig 2 to 3 feet deep and go 30 feet wide to really kill it. I've heard stories of families spending up to $15,000 on professional removal when a full grove gets out of control. Leyland cypress, often sold as fast privacy, grow 3 to 4 feet a year, towering at 40 to 50 feet. Perfect until a storm brings them down. They're shallow-rooted. One homeowner lost 3 40-foot cypresses in a high wind. Cleaning up cost $5,000 and they had to rip out the rest. The sad irony: you planted for privacy, and now you pay huge to remove them or risk property damage. Better alternative: choose well-behaved plants or solid structures. For plants, a line of columnar arborvitae, no runners, or densely planted boxwood can make a green wall without spreading. Or use shrubs like dappled willow or viburnum that stay where you put them. If you need absolute privacy, a solid vinyl or cedar fence is often cheaper over 10 years than endless plant removal costs. Cedar may cost approximately $30 per foot installed, but it's fixed and maintenance-free, unlike a hedge you trim monthly. In short, treat your privacy screening like any fence. Invest smartly up front and skip the gamble. So there you have it, 12 backyard features that cost more than you bargained for. The fix is often simpler than the mistake if you know ahead. We've given you all the insights the competitor missed, with specifics and better alternatives. If you enjoyed this, hit like. It helps me help you. If you want to avoid expensive mistakes and make smarter property decisions long-term, subscribe to the Property Blueprint. That's exactly what we do here. Next time you're planning an outdoor upgrade, ask yourself, will this save me time, money, and regret? Do that, and your yard will truly be an investment, not an expense. Good luck, and I'll see you in the next one.